we're going to go over how to find out if two shapes are similar. So if you are given two shapes, you need to maybe find out if they're similar or not. If we look at these two rectangles and match up corresponding sides, we're going to check to see if the scale factor on the length and width would be the same on these two rectangles. So this AB prime side right here is 2 centimeters. That matches up with this side up here, which is 4 centimeters. So if we multiplied it by 2, we would get this right here. If we matched up this side with this one and times it by 2, they would match up. So the scale factor for both of those would be the same. The other thing we need to make sure about is we need to look at the angles. Since they're rectangles, we know that all the angles are 90 degrees, so they match up as well. And this is important when finding similarity. So if we look at the properties of similar polygons, when two polygons are similar, their corresponding angles are equal. So this angle would match up with this angle matches up with this angle, this one with this one, and this one with this one. So the corresponding angles have to be equal. Corresponding sides have to be proportional, meaning that they would have the same scale factor. So if I match up this side here, RS, and found the scale factor by dividing that by R prime, S prime, okay, that would give me a number. So that would be 4 divided by 3, or 4/3. So that's 1.3 repeating. That has to be the same as if I were to take this side, match it up with this side. So that would be PS over P prime S prime, which is 8 over 6. So that also equals 1.3 repeating. So you'd continue to do this for all of the corresponding sides, that one matching up with this one matching up with this one. And if they were all the same scale factor and all these angles corresponded, then it's a similar polygon. So if we look at another example here, it shows the ratios. Now make sure if you put this shape right here on top of your ratio on the first one, then make sure it's on top on every single one of your ratios. You can't flip-flop to the top and bottom when you're finding scale factors. You have to keep it consistent. So AB matches up with PQ. So AB divided by PQ has to give you the same number as BC divided by QR. That has to give you the same number as DC divided by SR. And it has to give you the same number as AD over PS. Now you can see by the markings and the angles that the corresponding angles are also equal. They're not all the same, just A has to match up with P on this one, B has to match up with Q on this one, and so forth for all of them, for it to be a similar polygon. So we could actually put numbers in for this if we wanted to check it. So AB is 1.5 over PQ 2.1. That has to equal BC, which is 3, divided by QR, which is 4.2, which has to be the same as CD, which is 3 over another 4.2. Those are obviously the same. And 2 over 2.8. So the scale factor, if we checked all those, it's not a very nice number, but it is going to be the same for all of them. So you know that this are similar polygons. So if we were to look at these hexagons and ask, are they similar? Well, we can check corresponding sides. Okay, so this side divided by this side, so 12 divided by 4 would have to equal the same as 9 divided by 3. Well, that's true. This is 3, that's 3. So they have the same scale factor. What we would need to do though is check the angles. Make sure that the angles correspond as well. And in this case, they do. So these are similar polygons. Hexagons are similar. So if we were to look at these rectangles, the angles are all 90, so we know that they correspond. Let's just check the numbers here. So this 10 here, it was rotated, matches up with this 21. This 7 matches up with this 14. Well, the 7 I would times by 2 to get 14. But if I times the 10 by 2, I only get 20. So these sides aren't proportional. The corresponding side lengths don't give you the same scale factor, so these are not similar rectangles. Last example here, if you look at this one, right away it looks a little different. So if you check the angles, this angle here and that angle there are clearly different, so you know already that these are not going to be similar polygons.